All right, guys, more multiplying today. We're on lesson 10, which is page 93. It says, let's get more practice multiplying signed numbers. The I can statement is I can solve problems that involve multiplying rational numbers. 10.1, which doesn't belong expression. So which expression doesn't belong? So go ahead and hit pause. Write down which one you think doesn't belong, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, hopefully you've had time to think about which one doesn't belong, which one you think doesn't belong. Well, we could make a case for any one of these not belonging, okay? We could make a case for this one because they're multiplying two numbers. We could make a case for this one because they're adding. We could make a case for this one because there's only one term in the problem. And we can make a case for this one because they're multiplying by an x. Okay, well, it's not negative. Okay, you can make a case out of all of them. So let's turn to page 94. Match expressions that are equal to each other. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and solve all of these and just match. So there's one in this column that matches up. So there's one that matches up in each of the columns. So -1 times 12 is -12. -1 times -3 is +3. +3 times -5 is -15. -1 times -3 is -3. -3 times -5 is +15. 1/2 times 16, well, half is 16 is 8, and negative times a negative is a positive, so +8. So same problem here, except for now it's going to be -8 because there's only one negative in the problem. And down below, -1 times -3 is +3. +3 times 4 is 12. Okay, -64 times 1/8. It's the same as -64 divided by 8. So a negative, there's only one, so it's going to be negative. 64 divided by 8 is 8, so -8. So these ones match right there. -1 times 2. -1 times -2 is +2. +2 times 6 is 12. So +12, that's all the way down at the bottom. No. All the way down here at the bottom. -1/4 times -32. Well, negative times a negative is a positive. 32 divided by 4 is 8, so it's +8. So those match up. -3 times +5 is -15. So that matches up with this one up here. -1 times -3 is -4. -1 times -3 is +3. +3 times -4 is -12. So this one's -12. So that matches up with this one up top. And then -3 times -5 is +15. So that one matches up. Right there. All right? Okay, now the last one. 1 times 15 is 15. So that matches up with the yellow. No, where's 15 at? Down at the bottom. The light blue. -1 times -12 is +12. That matches up with the one right next door. -2 times 6 is -12. That matches up with the magenta pinkish one. 2 times -4 is -8. That matches up with the red one. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 matches up with green. And 1 times -15 is -15. That matches up with the yellow one. Okay, the easiest way to do all this is just type it in your calculator. Let it do all the hard work for you. Okay? 10.3, evaluate expression is in one of the columns. Your partner will work on the other column. Check your answer. Check in with your partner after you finish each row. Your answers in each row should be the same. If they aren't the same, work together to find the error. So We're just going to do the multiplication problems. 7.9 times 10 is 79. 0.1 times negative 60 is negative 6. 2.1 times negative 2 is negative 4.2. 2.5, so using my calculator, I'm going to pull that one out right now. 2.5 times negative 3.25 is negative 8.125. And the last one, negative 10 times 3.2 times negative 7.3, I get 233.6. Okay, and that's the lesson. So nothing new today, just more review stuff. So let's look at the summary on the bottom of page 95 and then over on page 96. A positive times a positive is always positive. For example, positive 3/5 times positive 7/8 is positive 21/40. A negative times a negative is also positive. For example, negative 3/5 times negative 7/8 is 21/40. A negative times a positive or a positive times a negative is always negative. For example, 3/5 times negative 7/8 equals negative 5 times positive 7/8, and that gives me a negative 21/40. A negative times a negative is always negative. A negative times a negative times a negative is also negative. So negative 3 times negative 4 times negative 5 is negative 60. So, number 1 on your assignment is number 5 in the book. Okay, it looks like difference and distance is subtraction problems. Okay, and then number 2, you're just number 2 looks like number 1 on your assignment in the book. You're just multiplying the numbers. Be sure to use the negative button and the fraction button. Remember, you can always ask me for help. Just send me an email.